Hello friends, my name is Jasmine and I'm an illustrator, and for the month of November I'm going to be doing something slightly different than your usual illustrator stuff. I'm going to be participating in NaNoWriMo, which is short for National Novel Writing Month, and basically what that means, it's a whole month devoted to writing a novel. Yes, a lot of people do that. In fact, it's a worldwide event where everyone challenges themselves to write 50,000 word story. I participated in this last year and it was a lot of fun. I got to write 21,000 words, and those are 21,000 words that I would have never really written any other time of the year. So I am doing the same thing this year with much lower expectations, but regardless, I'm super excited to do this again. Now, today is November 1st, but yesterday I got to do the last bits of prepping for this challenge. And for this video, I'm going to take you to yesterday when I did some of that prepping, just to give you a glimpse of some of the things that I've been doing, not only in my life, but also just the things that I have to do before I can just jump in and continue to write this story. So let's go to the past. So what exactly is left to do so that tomorrow, at the start of NaNoWriMo, I'm ready to go? And there's a lot that needs to be done. I'm gonna take NaNoWriMo pretty casually this year, just because of the workload in my life. But that doesn't mean I can't just at least try to do my best. Alright, well here we go. Here is last year's NaNoWriMo trackers. I did some journaling and I tracked my word count for every day. You can see by the end I kind of stopped writing, which is probably what's gonna happen this year anyways. I also did a ton of word sprints, so I tracked what I could, and that's pretty much what I did for NaNoWriMo. For this year, we're gonna do pretty much the same, except add a few little extra stuff. You might recognize this calendar stamp from a previous video, so we're gonna apply it again. So here's the part where I am looking at the month in total and seeing if there's going to be days that I already know I won't be able to write, which we already know. I'll also be using this little calendar to track what days I meet my daily goal, just for funsies. The next and last thing I want to do is to write up a list of to-dos. I know this is kind of a hefty list of things to do. It's gotta be done. Behold, yes, I changed my home screen to be very girl nighty, and we're gonna open Scrivener. We need to organize everything so that coming tomorrow I am ready to start writing. I've been working on organizing everything. As you can see, this is the draft that I wrote in last year's NaNoWriMo, and I've made a new folder so that every scene is a new card, and I can just bloop, 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 move them around. I think that makes more sense. So I think that this is pretty well organized. What I do need to organize too is the story's timeline. For timeline stuff, I actually use this app called Aeon Timeline. And it's really nifty because you can put all the events that you know your story has into a detailed and movable outline. And when you open up a scene, you can add all of these attributes to the scene so that when you are looking for a specific character,
boom, it's going to display only the scenes of the specific character that you want. So it's a really neat tool to just organize your story by characters, locations, what's happening in the story. Here are the locations. Very nifty. However, this is last year's draft. A lot has changed in the story, so I'm either debating on creating a new timeline or just editing this one that's already done. Oh my god, I already forgot. I can't work on creating a new timeline unless I finish the outline itself. That's not gonna work. So, the outline has to come first, which is the thing that I have been avoiding the most. Only because there's still parts of the story that I'm not so sure about. So, yeah. Honestly, part of my writing is kind of exploratory as much as I don't want to admit it, so maybe I should accept that certain parts of the story I just won't know until I get there. So we should definitely be working on that outline. If you're wondering what it is that I use to help me write a cohesive outline, this book. It is awesome. It gives you all the beats of your standard story, and it gives you a ton of examples as well as explaining why your typical story has those beats. So what you would do with this book, open to the beat sheet summary and try to see if you can put in your story as best as you can into this story structure. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to match exactly those beats. It's definitely a good guide to make sure that your story is following a logical path to an eventual satisfying conclusion. So I think what I'm going to do is write a separate outline following this exact structure and then transfer it to my actual outline that I'll be referencing back when I'm writing. Yeah. Alright, the outline following Save the Cat is done. I'm actually quite surprised that I managed to make up my mind on some of these big scenes. So we finished an outline. You know what, in retrospect, I think the timeline is going to be done after I write it. I also got to work on the names and the locations. I didn't finish naming everything, but again, I feel like there's really only so much I can come up with now before I can allow the pantsing to do its job. This was also done. I organized all the scenes. So these are the only things that are left. Let's do the easiest one, which is creating a project on the NaNoWriMo website. So yeah. Here we are in the NaNoWriMo website. I have literally not been back here since a year ago. We're gonna go to announce new project. What's the name of your project? Let's call it Girl Night, obviously. Associate with NaNoWriMo 2020. Yes. Cool. Look at that. NaNoWriMo Project 2020. Woo! So this is where the reward system could play a part. Every time I get a new badge, I could probably make it into a bubble tea purchase. Maybe. I don't know. But that's done. Because this story takes place in medieval France, I have done a ton of research for the past 2 or 3 years. And in that process, I've collected many books on medieval France, specifically in the early 1400s during the 100 Years' War. With those books, I've annotated a lot. So what I would like to do is collect all of these points that I made so that I can incorporate them into the story, which is the whole point of doing research for writing. I was actually hoping to come out with a video about how to do historical research when you're working on an art project, and I really never got around to doing it. I was able to write the outline for the video, but I just haven't gotten around to writing the actual script. This book actually is awesome. It was kind of hard to find, but I'm really glad I found it because it talks about exactly what I'm writing about. France during this time was a really tumultuous period, going through its civil war, going through tension with the English, and generally just not having the best time. France was definitely a hot mess during this period, and trying to get to know exactly how much of a chaotic mess it was is really hard. First, that I don't speak fluent French, and it's very, very hard to find resources, specifically in the early 1400s. So it's been a journey trying to do the research, but it's these gems that really help with the writing process. So finally time that I compile all this, and I'm visiting my in-laws' house, so I only brought this book. So I think for today, just compiling these notes will be super helpful. We're gonna make a new page on Scrivener just for notes. Here we go. All right. I didn't really have that many points to write down. It seems like I absorbed the information more as a general summary of what was happening in the countryside between the knights and peasants, which means I finished my list of to-dos for Preptober. We're gonna start this marathon tomorrow. I'm really excited to just get to writing again. As far as vlogging's gonna go, I will be vlogging the NaNoWriMo experience, but my vlogging style is gonna be a lot more casual, kind of like this vlog, because if it were any more cinematic than that, it would take forever to edit, and I would be stuck not posting anything again. I hope you're okay with just more casual vlogging for now, at least when it comes to NaNoWriMo stuff. So in the meantime, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I usually create videos about art, and in this case it's about writing because I also create stories through my art. So if you're interested in storytelling stuff, history, art, follow me if you would like to be inspired to create stuff, because that's the main purpose of why I like to do this with you. Hopefully you'll be inspired to pursue your own projects, and maybe some of the tools and techniques that I use will be helpful for you as well. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Like this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!